um, I have an ex-fiance. We got engaged right before COVID, and then during COVID, it fell apart. Also, another really wonderful person. She was very corporate, and I was wanting to lean into the entrepreneur side. I was leaving the nonprofit space and want to be an entrepreneur. And what I've noticed is that a lot of people who have two different corporate jobs, it's like they go live their own life for like 10 hours a day, you know, 40, 50, 60 hours a week. They have this different life. And then they come together in the evenings for dinner and they talk about this other life that you might not even know these other people, except that, you know, the Christmas party that you get to go to or the whatever. It's like they're living a different life and you're just talking about it over dinner. And that sounds to me like two people in the same river rowing separate boats towards the same destination, which sounds like retirement. Like one of these days, we're both going to be able to leave our jobs and have this retirement and we'll be together. And or like they're just raising kids together. And then whenever the kids are gone, now they're like, who are you? And you know what I'm talking about. But I feel like that analogy of they're rowing separate boats because of their careers and they're trying to keep them from separating all this time, and maybe one gets a little further. I mean, you get the analogy, right?
I
To
understand.
me,
I understand what you're saying, and it's interesting because I'm thinking as you're talking. And so, what about like in the 50s and in the 60s, where, like you were saying, the stay-at-home mother that was cooking for her husband? It was the same dynamic, so to speak, right? He would come home from work. She didn't really know anybody, but he's coming in and he's talking to her.
sure. I'm not telling anybody else how they should pick theirs. Work. I'm all I'm doing is I'm sharing this example of what's important to me
No, no, I
for
understand.
my
It just
choice,
it got
because
me
you're spot
thinking.
on.
Yeah,
So for me, I want somebody who we're in the same boat,
right.
rowing down the river towards the same destination, and we have these complementary um, skills, talents, and abilities. For example, it's kind of silly, but have you ever seen like the billboard or the ad where it's like the husband and wife real estate team, like both
Yeah,
wearing like the same
with
kind of shirt? And it's like,
the
yeah, yeah, he might be the, you know, back office guy and she might be
yeah.
the one showing houses, but they're building their their thing together,
They're
right?
striving toward the
That's
same
important to
outcome,
me.
right?
Yes. So I'm not saying people can't have amazing lives together, rowing separate boats down the same. They might even feel it that way, but for me, that is something
That's
where
something
I
that's
feel
important for
like,
you moving forward. Yeah, because I can also
yeah,
argue that where if you're a couple, I mean, you really, first of all, have to really get along. And working in the same company together where you have this vision, it's almost like Donald Trump and Ivana Trump, where they became business associates after a while and not husband and wife because the
yeah,
woman now is
no, great
so,
point.
yeah. You know,
Yeah.
so it's you have to be very intuitive and very connected and have a lot of communication at that point with your partner, where if you're feeling that the swag is kind of dying a little bit, it's like, how are we going to bring the spark back up again, right? And that's part of the evolution of being in long-term relationships.